class in the criminal justice system. And the result of that is that more and more of our children for longer and longer periods of time have been placed in the out-of-home pipeline. And it is in that pipeline that they lose their connections to a sense of family, have foreshortened futures, and challenge themselves to figure out how to navigate what still is a very cruel world. Part of the result has been that the poverty levels, the illiteracy rates, the ongoing racism, and what we've been framing in the Association of Black Psychologists is the impact of this historical trauma has really begun to undermine the integrity of our families and challenges us at personal, familial, and community levels. So when we think about this harm definition, there are three domains that we've attempted to try to frame in the notion of trying to take this complex issue and address it to a range of contextual factors. The first has to do with major structural deficits. Again, this perpetuation of the lie of black inferiority, the sense that something is fundamentally and substantively inferior about black folks, we think is the root cause of the sets of challenges that really undermine our futures and possibilities. It results in the allegation of fewer resources from the country's social compact, so that we don't get our fair share of the social compact because the assumption is that we are deserving of less. And that is what this root notion of this lie of inferiority. We're never deserving of adequate employment and educational opportunities. Very poorly compensated. Not deserving of fair and equitable housing. We struggle with clear ideas about what solid educational plans look like. Facilities and resources in our communities are always underfunded and understaffed. We have struggled to get access to nutritious foodstuffs. There is rarely equal protection under the law for the kinds of atrocities that continually are perpetuated upon us. So those are structural deficits that, irrespective of where we start, we're struggling with the weight of the lie. And so our challenge is to confront the lie directly. There are policy implications. See, the assumption of this lie of black inferiority fuel policy decisions that impact how African Americans function day to day. So that every day we are confronted with the kinds of news and the framing of reality that undermines the very integrity of us individually as well as our families and communities. Again, we have limited employment opportunities because we have limited startup resources. We have limited public quality infrastructure. That's trash pickup, poor lighting, transportation. Fewer opportunities for our children to engage in the kind of pro-social activities, art, music, exercise, and other creative outlets. And that begins to undermine their capacity to reach full potentials. We have limited housing, both legally and social sanction. The schools are substandard facilities. Poor resources, undertrained and often unmotivated and biased teachers. So those are policy decisions. Those are places where people make decisions about allocation of resources. We end up at the bottom across those different domains. And then there are the personal manifestations. Burdened by the weight of the cumulative exposure to historical trauma, which is this lie of black inferiority, we have internalized way too often this sense of inferiority. So our vision isn't sufficient to address the kinds of issues that we are confronting day to day. The hopelessness and despair, balanced by examples and instances of both genius and resilience, really do combine to make a constant tension within our everyday real experience lives. Our challenge, we argue, is to make resilience empowerment commonplace and ordinary, not extraordinary and unusual. And it is in that spirit that we came together to put together this definition of harm for Black children. We are going to make sure that by the end of our gathering today, everyone will have a copy of the definition that we prepared, and we look forward to a really rousing conversation back and forth in the Q&A. Thank you for your time.